I've always enjoyed Thrawn books because of their layered stories, and this was no different. Everything was easy to comprehend despite the large amount of world building that was done. While both stories would be great on their own, the crossing over of characters and details made both sides stronger. There were also a few connections to Rebels that made the entire story that much better. I never found myself having the problem of remembering who was who throughout the book. Whether that be because of the minimal main characters or the unique characterization, it made the entire story much easier to understand. I enjoyed getting into the minds of Thrawn and Anakin Vader and seeing how they differ in their approach to problems. Thrawn's tactical moments are always fun to read along with because often I find myself figuring out his plan with the other characters in the story. Padme also had some good moments, but for the most part her character's role past the first few chapters is forgettable. One of my only problems with the book was its poor pacing. While the first few chapters kept me interesting and added a lot to the story, the middle of the story didn't seem to go anywhere or develop at all. For both timelines there were multiple chapters devoted to one event like a prison escape that could have been done much quicker to keep me interested in the story. Some of the action sequences also felt drawn out. At times the action benefited from being described in great detail, but there were times in the story where it took away from the larger picture. While I still enjoyed this side of the story, it suffered the most from the poor pacing I previously mentioned. Both the beginning and ending of the story were interesting and added a lot to the overall story, but the middle was dragged out and made me look forward to the end of the chapter when the focus would switch again. I still enjoyed the contrast between Thrawn's calculated thought process and Anakin's brash and impulsive nature. There were times where the Imperial-era story paralleled the Republic-era story to the point where it was almost the exact same story except for a few characters and minor details, which made it hard to focus or care about a story that had seemingly already happened. However, I did enjoy this story more because of the almost constant developments. The final third of this side of the story added so many new details to the galaxy that it's increased my excitement for the other Thrawn books as well as what could be happening in the Ahsoka series. For the most part I really enjoyed this audiobook. Other than Padme, all of the characters, mainly Thrawn, Vader, and Palpatine, all sounded completely accurate and helped to add to the immersion. The addition of music was come and go for most of the book. It wasn't used often, and there were times where it didn't serve any purpose and was simply a distraction. However, there were other moments where the stakes felt higher because of the music and sound effects added, so the use of music was a bit inconsistent. While I know many fans are conflicted about how Thrawn is depicted in television versus in books, if you like Thrawn's tactical nature in Rebels, then these books will be great for you. While it's not necessary to have read the first part of the trilogy before this book, if you enjoyed that book, then Alliances continues with the same style from before and is well worth the read. Even if you're not into the character of Thrawn, the book adds a lot of details to both the Clone Wars era and the Imperial era that could impact the future of Star Wars television. Thrawn Alliances offers a dual storyline that, while pacing is a problem, develops both the overall story and the galaxy in a fascinating manner, earning a rating of 8.5 out of 10.
Make sure to like, subscribe, follow me on social media, and comment down below what content you'd like to see in the future. As always, thank you all for watching, and remember,
the Force will be with you, always.